Hi, this is Joe, and you're watching GoonerTube, and this is Gooner Talk. We're doing this special one-off edition of Gooner Talk, although we're going to be doing plenty more over the season as the season progresses and more matches come and go. We're going to be doing them for all the cup competitions, provided we stay in the cup competitions, whatever they are, and obviously the Premier League. But this is a one-off, and we're going to be talking to our guests here today about the transfer window, amongst a couple of other little issues that we're going to be talking about. It's a very quick one today, but we're going to cover the transfer window mostly, and what's happened, what we expected to happen, and what did happen in the transfer window. And today we've got Aitch. Aitch is back for more punishment. We've got Adam and we've got Louise. Before we go any further, I've lined this up because somebody said, you've got to play this. So I'm going to play this into the microphone. See if you can hear this. Hang on. Here we go.
Good God.
Right. There you go. That's that out of the way now. We're having a party. Yeah, I know. Terrible play on words. I know. Almost as bad as your Gooner poo jibe just now, Harold. We won't go into that. It's an in-joke. Don't worry. So we're here with Aitch, we're here with Adam, we're here with Louise, and we're going to be talking about the transfer window. But before we do that, very, very quickly, and we will come back to a couple of other things, but very, very quickly, I just have to say welcome to Adam, and welcome to Louise. They've been contributing to our Gooner Views videos, along with Aitch and various other people. There will be a rotational thing going on, and we will be getting as many different people to contribute to these Gooner Views chats, that we Gooner Talk chats that we have as the season progresses. So very quickly, Louise, I'm going to come to you. Now, your husband is an Aston Villa supporter, is that right?
Yes, he is, for his sins.
And not for his sins, not today. And we love him. And I watched you the other day on Gooner Views, and you said you always take great pleasure in beating Liverpool whenever Arsenal beat Liverpool. So you must have been jumping all over the furniture the other night. I mean, you was a Villa supporter, wasn't you, the other night?
I was. I wasn't going to watch the game because I thought they was going to get absolutely hammered. But yeah, I sat down to eat my tea with my husband, and they went 1-0 up, and then they went 2-0 up. And he was like, yeah, you're not moving. You're sitting there for the rest of the match.
Yep.
And to be honest, I can't believe I'm so happy. I'm so happy for Tim, but I'm so happy that Liverpool got absolutely stuffed.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
because I hate them. I hate them.
Yeah. Well, you're not the only one. Getting beat, or watching Liverpool get beat is always a great pleasure. But watching them get beat by the margin that they got beat by, and I don't know if you know this, guys, and this is really out there because nobody would have done this anyway, but do you know if you'd have had a £10 bet on Liverpool losing 7-2 to Villa and Spurs beating Man United 6-1 at Old Trafford would have netted you a cool £2.5 million? Do you know that? That's crazy for a £10 bet.
Yeah, I heard that. I think it was on Radio X on Chris Moyles. I heard that the other day.
Yeah,
actually.
£2.5 million. Imagine,
yeah.
Let's do something crazy tonight, and you get it spot on. I mean, what are the chances? I don't know.
Yeah.
So Adam, go on. Sorry.
My husband's still like on cloud 9.
No, I can imagine he's probably on 10, 11, 12, and 13. You know, I hope he doesn't get too used to it by the time he plays us.
I was going to say, Louise, I'm surprised. Have you seen him since the game?
Yeah, he's still high up somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's lofty heights somewhere.
He's watched the highlights about 7 times already.
Fantastic. I love it. I love some of the jibes coming out as well, which is great. Some of the stuff on Twitter and Facebook and the real piss-taking stuff. I love it, especially when it's against the media darlings of Liverpool FC. Adam, it's lovely to have you with us, mate. I'm glad you've been contributing. You've been, like I said right from the start. When Adam, you probably noticed, guys, that when Adam does his Gooner View stuff, he's just like, I mean, he was giving us 4 minutes worth. You know, it's just reeling it off. And I thought he must be he's got an auto cue or something. And there was like, just stuff, and he was just going blah 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 blah. And I thought, where's this guy get all this information from? So where do you get it all from? Is it all just up there anyway? Do you talk for a living?
It's all up in my head. I talk to my mate all the time about football, talk to my dad, drive my girlfriend mad. And so this is perfect. I've got someone to talk Arsenal to.
You've got a great platform, and thanks for contributing so far on the platform. And obviously, Harold, you do a lot of talking during the day, so you're used to chatting. Let's hope your signal stays okay today. We don't get any sort of shop window dummies, and you have to go racing down to the bottom of the stairs. Have you sorted it now?
Oh, I'm in a different room, but I thought you quite liked that. Adds a bit of spice.
I do.
It keeps everyone on their toes.
Absolutely. That's the main thing. So while we're talking, we're going to talk basically at the top of it. I just played that little tune there, and there's a reason for that, and that is that at the 11th hour, not quite at the 11th hour, the 9th hour, we managed to secure the services of one Thomas Partey from Atletico Madrid, and it's since come to light that Atletico weren't too pleased about that. But what did they expect? I'm not quite sure. Ad, I'm going to ask you first. What do you think about the actual transfer? And do you think that he's worth 45 million quid? And do you think we've got a good acquisition there? And it's, like I say, mostly rhetorical questions. I know the answers to these, but I'd like your opinion, mate.
I think it's great signing. I think he's worth double what we paid. It's £45 million for a player of his level. He's genuinely world class. He comes with discipline. He can carry the ball through midfield. He can pass. He can break up play, but he's not a defensive midfielder. That's one of the things winding me up on Twitter. Partey is far from a defensive midfielder. He can play. He can carry the ball. He can score. He can do everything. He's more like Essien was in 2008-9. That kind of real dynamic midfielder, but very clever as well.
Yep.
So for me, fantastic.
Absolutely.
And,
I liken him to Essien. I think he's going to be a very Essien-esque player. People are likening him to Vieira. I don't think he's had the same dynamism as Vieira, although he might grow into that quite well. But yeah, Essien, I would definitely put him on a par with, definitely.
Yeah, one other thing, I think Jamie Carragher said it a few years ago about miles in the tank as opposed to age.
Yeah,
Partey didn't break through until he was about 24. So he's played less games than Dani Ceballos, who's 3 years younger.
Yeah.
So he might be 27.
Stat, isn't it? Yeah.
But you're getting a player who's more like 24.
Yeah.
So he's very intelligent on the pitch. He doesn't have those miles in his legs already. So look at Fernandinho. He's still doing it at 35, 36. And it's because he was playing in weaker leagues until he was 28.
Yeah.
When City bought him, he was 35 million, but he was a 28-year-old. Yeah. And that seemed a lot of money, but it's paid off, and I hope we get the same from Partey.
Let's hope so. Louise, what did you think when you heard that Partey had parted company with Atletico?
I was over the moon. Yeah, I thought it was a great signing. I can't understand quite why it took so long and why we left it till the 9th hour, 11th hour, whatever, because it was pretty obvious for the last couple of months that we wanted him. So yes. I can't understand quite why we didn't just go and do the release clause and put the 45 million down.
But we're Arsenal.
But yeah,
we're Arsenal. That's what we do.
Yeah. I'm over the moon. I think he's a great midfielder. I can't wait to see him with Danny and with Zarka. I'm not sure. It all depends on like what formation Arteta's going to play as to who he's going to be like linked up with. But what I've read, what I've seen, I think he's a great signing for us.
Well, would you be more? I agree wholeheartedly. Harold, would you be inclined to play him alongside the likes of Ceballos, or would you prefer to see him alongside Xhaka? Let's take Elneny out of the equation at the moment, because obviously Elneny will be in there just for a purpose. But who would you rather see play alongside him?
Obviously Ceballos. He can do what Xhaka does, like times 10. I'm not over the moon we've got him. I've been like boring loads of mates about him for a long time. Obviously, I'm a Ghanaian. He's a Ghanaian, so I've been watching him.
You're Ghanaian?
I am Ghanaian indeed. He's exactly what we need. And if you just want a good example, just go back to the Champions League game against Liverpool last season.
Yeah.
And then just see what he does. The way he breaks up play, the way he starts play, he can dribble, beat a player. He can pass through the lines. He doesn't seem to lose the ball. He's got that energy.
It's quick, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, I can't see I don't see the need of playing with Xhaka. And with him in the team, we could maybe move away from that back three. Maybe just play a fat back four, have more players in midfield with him there. I just think, he can protect that back four or back three, whoever we've got back there, and also break forward with it as well. I think he's everything Xhaka wants to be,
and more. Tony made the point the other night that he really doesn't like Xhaka as a player. I think he confuses me, Xhaka. He, like you say, it's as if he wants to be a certain player but can't be. And just when you think he's starting to play well, he just has a run of 3 or 4 games where you think he's actually quite ordinary. That's where it confuses me. That's why hopefully Thomas Partey will up the ante in the midfield there. And if he does play alongside Xhaka, surely it could only improve Xhaka the way he plays. What do you think?
But don't knock Xhaka too much, though. As I mentioned before in the last chat, when he was playing, we were winning. He got things ticking. When he was out of the squad at the end of last season, we weren't winning. So he was still doing stuff for us.
Yeah, he was, absolutely. I mean, the fact that we've potentially let Torreira go now, do you think that's a good thing, or do you think it would have been nice to have kept hold of him? Anyone?
I think his time's definitely. It's probably up at Arsenal. It hasn't worked out because when he started, he was that fiery, sort of scrappy defensive midfielder. He just did one job, which was sit in front of the back four, win the ball, give it to Xhaka, let him play. Then when Emery pushed him into the right of a diamond, he lost his confidence. And then when he went into number 10, it was almost comical.
Yeah, that was a weird move.
Yeah, and I get winning the ball high up the park, but if you win it high up the park, you need to be able to use it. And Torreira can't do that. So for me, I think he'll thrive at Atletico, but I just don't think he was ever really the right player for us wanting to really push on.
I kind of feel a bit sorry for him. Because, as you said, when he started, he seemed to be that saviour, that tough midfielder we needed. Fair enough, he was tiny, but he got stuck in, he was winning balls. And what's let his Arsenal career go astray is where he's been played. Yeah. And as you said, I think he'll do well for Atletico, but I feel a bit put out for him because I don't think him personally, he's had the injuries, he's been played out of position. If we played him where he should have been playing, I think he'd still be doing well for us.
Is this provided Simeone plays him in the correct position, though, H, I think?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Simeone will.
Yeah. He's experienced enough that I think he will. Yeah. He's got that defence-minded mentality, hasn't he? Yeah. He's very like that. So I can imagine he will play Torreira in the correct position. So moving on from Partey, because obviously we're all really, really pleased now, and we're gonna just wait to see what what he brings to the club. It's believed that we brought someone else into the fold, and it was a young guy from. Well, let's talk about the fact that Guendouzi has gone to Hertha Berlin. How do we feel? We did hit on Guendouzi the other night, didn't we, when we were talking, and we spoke about his attitude and maybe what he's got to offer at Arsenal when he returns, if he returns. Adam, let's get your view on what you think about the Guendouzi situation going over to Hertha Berlin. What's your view on that?
I'm a big fan of Guendouzi. He's one I'm sad to see go under the circumstances because he can play. For a player his age, he's got the confidence. I do think his attitude needs sorting out, but I think Arsenal have done a bad PR job as well because we wanted to sell him. There was clubs interested a few months ago, and we froze him out so blatantly that forcing him to train with the 23s, just not picking him at all. He was sort of banished from the squad. Had we have handled that better internally, I think we probably could have raised some cash for him. But at the same time, his attitude's done him no favours. And when you're a young player and Arteta wants it to be all about discipline, you're not going to play for Arsenal.
It proved the point,
Adam, don't you think that's what the club's about now? Fair enough, we could have handled it differently. Maybe certain players may not have liked what's happened. It may have upset the apple cart. It's all about Arteta saying now, it's my way or no. And so he's put his foot down, irrespective of what's going to happen to the player afterwards. And he said, no, I want everyone looking in the same direction. Everyone's got to follow what I want to do for this club. And irrespective of if you're going to sell you on or do whatever. If you're not going to do that, you're not going to do it.
No, I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
I think it's more what I'm thinking is it's put off potential buyers as opposed to.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking less from the player's perspective. I don't really care about footballers are well paid. So for me, I'm not going to give them a lot of sympathy when they don't play. However, I'm looking more about who Arsenal could bring in as a result of selling Guendouzi. And instead of raising 35, 40 million, we've sent them on loan.
Yeah. Louise, you was going to chip in there, I think.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that we've already kind of touched on Xhaka, and I think it's interesting to compare the two of them in the sense of what's happened with Guendouzi being frozen out and Xhaka's complete and utter turnaround. Because when he stormed off and he threw the captain's armband and everything, and he told the fans where to go, I thought, that's it, he's out. And full credit to him, credit to Arteta. He's knuckled down. He's took on board what Arteta said, and he's gone, do you know what? I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna prove Arteta, right. I'm gonna prove the fans wrong. Guendouzi's gone completely the opposite, and he's sort of thrown his toys out the pram a little bit. There's been the incidents, obviously, at Brighton, and then reading bits and pieces. There's been quite a few bust-ups at the training ground as well, and I'm not surprised at all that he's gone. And to be fair, yes, he is a talented player, and it's a shame. But to be honest, do I want that sort of player in my team? No, I want somebody who's going to, follow what the boss is saying. I'm 100% behind Arteta, and I think what's amazing is the rest of the team are as well, and you can really see that togetherness. And it's really interesting that actually a couple of people have come out of that circle. What a difference it's made. And one of those people is Guendouzi.
Absolutely.
So I'm not surprised at all that he's gone.
I love the way you pronounce Xhaka as well.
Is it? Yeah, Xhaka.
No.
Xhaka?
That's fantastic. I love that. It's almost like Londoners who've lived in Clapham for a couple of years call it Clam. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, no, brilliant. No, I love it. But Xhaka, that's the first I've never heard it say. I mean, everybody's got their own ways of saying. I mean, I sat next to a guy that used to call players up. We had players playing for the club I'd never heard of before sitting next to me. Some of the names he used to come up with, honestly, crazy.
Some of the commentators annoy me when they're like when they're saying. I think how one of them, I can't remember who it is, how he pronounces Bellerin.
Okay.
Bellerin.
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 I suppose because the Spanish use a double L as a ya, don't they? They have the ya sound.
Yeah.
The double L. Mind you, people were calling Torreira or Torreira. Who cares? We know what we're talking about. The little fella. That's it. We should say that about
Granite.
me. That's
Granite.
It. Granite. Yeah, we got that in common.
So I think just on the point, of players coming out, Maitland-Niles deserves a lot of credit. He was one that we thought like everything was going to. He wasn't going to make it at Arsenal. He was going to go somewhere right down to the sort of bottom half. Didn't want to be a fullback, but he's got his head down and he's proved Arteta wrong completely. He's basically said, "I'm going to show you that I'm good enough."
Yeah,
and he's become a key figure, and it's great to see because there's so much talent in that boy. It's crazy just how good he could be.
Yes, I love the nonchalant.
He is great, isn't he? And what about his penalties? We've got to talk about those. I mean, Jesus.
That's what I was saying. Did you see Ian Wright's impersonation of him? It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was class.
Like just like that. She walks up and then just like no backlift whatsoever. Just straight into and then just turns and smiles. It's fantastic. That's confidence.
Did you hear what Wright he was saying though when he was doing it?
Go on.
Because it wasn't very clear. He was there and he was going along going, "Oh God, did I leave the iron on? Oh, I can't remember." And he was having like this internal monologue about did I leave the iron on because he was just so cool.
Oh, fantastic! Now we've got a young lad that's come the other way by the name of Omar Rakik, and I know his brother, I believe, played for Man City. I don't really know anything about Omar, only that he's a defender. I don't know if anybody else here can touch on it very, very quickly, but it looks like he's one for the future, if anything else. I believe he's 18 years old. And it's a very typical, almost Wenger-esque signing because there's, we always say this young lad is coming in and he's the next big thing. But then the next 3 years, you don't see him or hear of him, and suddenly he goes out online and he's sold because he didn't quite make the grade. So is anybody know any more than I do about Omar Rekik, only that he's a defender and he's come the other way from Berlin to Arsenal? You're going to say no now, aren't you?
I know nothing about him, but it's a bit strange that we've got. Is he a centre back? Did you say?
I believe he's a centre half. Yeah, centre back. Yeah.
It's just a bit strange that we've got another centre back coming to the club, because we've got. I've lost count of how many we've got.
Well, now that we've
quite a few of them.
Well, now that we've managed to keep hold of all of them, or not managed to, but not managed to offload. You know, it was you know, with the Callum Chambers situation with West Ham and possibly Socrates to Everton or one of the other clubs, and Holding was being
still there.
Staffy
Holding, Pablo Mara,
we were basically
was meant to be the saviour, wasn't
he? Inundated with centre halves. So I mean, maybe January's the target now for Arteta. Maybe things just weren't done in time. So we'll have to, when we got Pablo Mara,
back to the good old George Graham days. We used to centre halves, didn't he?
Just stick your hand up in the air. That's what we did.
We've 10 centre backs and only one of them can defend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, possibly two. Once Mari comes back, possibly two. I mean, that should have been a sending off the other day when I know Louise, you pointed out about VAR. I think Louise deserved to be sent off for that, and thankfully VAR wasn't working for him at the time either. So you know how Martial got sent off for that, but that's another story. That's crazy. Just so very quickly, we're just going to touch on a couple of other players that aren't at the club but were at the club. One of them is Jack Wilshere. And now Jack's a free agent, and apparently for the last sort of 7 or 8 months he's been fully fit, or so he says. I don't know what that quite means actually in Jack Wilshere's terms, but you know, maybe one of his legs has grown back or something. I don't know. And obviously he was nicknamed Jack Wheelchair by the Arsenal fans, and that's about appropriate. It's quite appropriate as well. But what are your thoughts on Jack being a sort of you know, he's out there now and he's up for grabs, so to speak? Can you see him going to another Premier League club? Do you think someone will snap him up?
I can't see it. I just don't see who would take the risk. He doesn't have the best reputation. He's got baggage. He doesn't have the best reputation. And I don't know how many games he's played between Arsenal and West Ham. I think it's about 17 for West Ham in 2 years.
It's crazy.
And if you watch him on the pitch as well, the games he did play, he's very, very slow now. Whereas Jack was all about that turn of pace, literally taking the ball in the half turn, outside of the left foot, and he was away. 5 yards, beats his man every time and gives it. He loved that ball, that quick sideways pass outside of the left peg to the winger, and he got away. He can't do that anymore, and the game's faster. Teams want to press, and you never know. Maybe it'd be an option for Burnley. They don't want to spend any money, so... And they need some players.
He might end up at a championship side, you know, who knows? Maybe Norwich or one of the others might want to take him on, but we'll have to wait and see about that.
I just think it's a massive shame, I think, Joe, because
isn't it just?
We all know the potential he had, the ability he had, and it's just a shame. It just shows you how tough football can be. You've got to be lucky as a player with injuries, with everything, and
very much.
Massive shame.
The other one, Louise, is Theo Walcott, who's I believe he's gone back to Southampton now.
Yeah.
And sort of done his rounds, and he's now come back to where he started, and I think he'll do quite well there. To be honest, he's probably going to be quite confident going down there, and I think they'll probably do okay for them.
Will they even get a game for them? They're flying at the moment, aren't they?
Well, they are. They are
doing all right.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah. So. What do you think? Was you a Walcott fan when he was at Arsenal, Louise?
I was, yeah.
Oh,
I like Theo.
You went all motherly on us there. Did you notice?
Oh, yeah. I was a Theo fan, especially when, you know, the famous...
Yeah.
He was coming up on stretcher.
Yeah.
That really, you know, really like that.
That became infamous.
Yeah. I think he, a little bit like Jack, has been really unfortunate with some injuries. And, you know, it was sad to see him go, but, you know, is he good enough for Arsenal?
Well,
I think going back to Southampton, I think he's going home, isn't he? And he's, I think he's going to, you know, he'll have a good season, hopefully.
He'll be a good squad player, I imagine, for them. There's probably another player there, a bit like Wilshere, that never actually reached the potential that we expected him to reach. And like you say, injuries, and both him and Jack, whether they were played too much as younger men, is another, you know, question that will never be answered now. But, you know, we wish them both well. I suppose they both did their time and both served the club well when they played. So I can only imagine that they'll hopefully with Jack as well. We'll both do quite well. We've got to draw this to a close because otherwise we'll be here all night. Which is lovely, but we'll give our editors a hell of a time if it's too long. So just a parting shot from each one of you regarding how you feel the transfer window has gone very, very quickly. The fact that we've got Partey in, he was the main man really, apart from who unfortunately we didn't get. But on the balance of things, do you think we've made the right decision in getting Partey in, Harold?
Yeah, look, I think once again, well, I thought that last time as well, but I think we've had a really great transfer window. You can't forget we brought Gabriel in as well.
Yep.
Who's like been doing brilliantly. Partey is exactly what we need. I've been watching him. He doesn't let me down, but he just looks like it's going to take us to another level. It's going to fill the holes that we need. And as I've said, Arteta's been doing really well with the players we have. So to add that bit of extra quality to it, it's just onward and upwards for us. I'm really happy with this transfer window.
Fantastic. I can only assume both Adam and Louise, you agree with that?
Yeah, totally. And I think one of the other ones that we haven't mentioned today is Oba. Getting him to sign that new deal was so important, because if he hadn't signed, if he hadn't stayed, it would have been catastrophic. Well, I don't think that we'd have been attracting a player like Partey.
Yeah.
If he knew that Oba was going and that the club weren't going in the right direction and everything like that. So I'm so pleased that we've got Partey, but I'm so pleased that we've kept Aubameyang. Yeah.
Well, let's hope he scores soon, because he hasn't scored since he signed.
They're coming, Joe. Don't worry, the goals are coming.
Adam, a very, very quick word from you, and I mean quick because I know what you like.
I'm completely the same. Gabriel looks great. I've already said what I need to say on Partey, world class. And for me, the forgotten man, Dani Ceballos, he has had to be re-signed. He's come back and he's been doing bits since Arteta moved him into that slightly deeper role. So I'm very confident now. I wasn't so optimistic a few days ago, but I think we'll finish top 4.
I was just about to ask that exact question before we went. Harold, top 4, you think? Yes?
It's going to be tough. There's, as we see, a lot of stuff's been going on, so I reckon there or thereabouts. Fuck it, top 4.
I know Louise is going to say top 4, aren't you, Louise?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. No, I think so too. Even if it's 4th, I think
above Spurs.
Let's not talk about that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but we're going to be above them, so it's fine.
No. Yeah. I know. You start spoiling the conversation with words like that. That's terrible. It's almost as bad as a Gooner poo. So on that note, I'm not off for Gooner poo. I'm going to wish each and every one of you a farewell. Thank you so much for watching this special edition of Gooner Talk with myself, Harold, or better known as H, with Adam and with Louise. If you don't follow us already, please press that subscribe button, press the like button, and press the notification bell. That means you'll never miss another bit of content here at GoonerTube. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. And no doubt we'll be joining each other again in this combination soon. Until then, we'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.